All right, just waiting for things to load. There it is. All right, let's see how this works. All right, let's see how this works. Okay, let's see what kind of latency we got. All right, let's see how this works. Okay, let's get this shared out to the appropriate spots. And that should be there in a second. Caleb, boy, you're right on the spot. How you feeling today? Let me just get this shared out here. Let's see, I got it on my Facebook. And then right here. All right, there's one for Where Nerdy is Cool. And you can see a couple of people messaged me and said, you know, I'm surprised you don't have a tip jar going. So there we have one. We have one now in the corner. So a tip jar has been placed. So, you know, how cool is that? I'm trying to get the hang of the software. Oh, yeah, geez, everyone's having babies. My two of my close friends just had babies in the last month and a half. All right, that's the last one I wanted to share out. Dun, dun, dun. Wreck-It Ralph 2. Haven't seen those. All right, so I think I have everything. Okay, let me move this. And then we can chat about what's been going on since last time. And yes, I do have the, I get picked on for this, but I do have the decaf coffee going already. All right, let's do a quick check, make sure all the cameras are working properly. Our main camera, of course, is right here. I have the instructions lit up on the other page. Oh, look at that, the coffee mug is there, or the beer mug is there too, okay? And then I get my external camera, which we're making great use of for a lot of the close-ups when it decides it wants to focus, of course. And as always, the laptop view, which the camera, for whatever reason, that light is diffusing the shop light. So there. A couple of interesting developments over the last, well, 24 hours. I found a really excellent print on Thingiverse. There's not a lot of stuff I found relating to the FT-i3 Mega, but I did find, you know, I printed two of them. But let me get the camera to look down. So this is going to be, if the camera decides to focus, of course. This is going to hold one of the blocks. And of course, this one I've already gone a step ahead and put the T-nuts on it. So what this is going to do is, this is going to, oh, the camera tried to focus for a brief moment. So what we can do is where the stepper motors join together with that linkage block, that can sit in here. It can be bolted in, and then these little gaps here in the top have room for the zip ties. And goodness gracious knows, I got zip ties and zip ties and zip ties. So I may as well. I printed 2. I wasn't sure if I really needed 2 or not, but I figured why not. The CR10 definitely has room on the bed for that, so decided to go ahead and go for it. But you know, this will ultimately just wrap around the wires. So there is that. So good to see you, Caleb. The other thing that I did is on the Ultimaker back here. That camera is not gonna. There's no way that camera is gonna reach all the way back there. But let's go ahead and give it a shot. So in the Ultimaker is a whole pile of clips, and these are made for 30-30 rails. So that should be a pretty decent way. Actually, let me just get them off the bed. They finished about half an hour ago, so. So the thought is we'll use a bunch of these guys to snap into the side of the 30-30 rails, and perhaps tuck in some of those wires that are sticking out everywhere. So let me get a bunch of those out. I printed about 8 because I wasn't sure how good the fit would be. I hated to print just one, so as you can see, they look like something out of Tron. But for those of you who are sci-fi people, so I'm going to try not to have this video go too late. I'm still, I sent an email off to, or a message rather, off to Chris Soros and asking about putting the bed together without having the tape there. I wanted to know if electrical tape would work on that or not. And he hasn't got back to me yet, so he must be working or just been really busy. So Kapton tape, that's what I was drawing a mental block on. So what we have to do tonight, and I'm going to give this a couple minutes. I'll sit here and chat for a little bit. What did you miss yesterday? Well, and I'll put the printer on the desk here in just a moment here. Yesterday was largely getting a lot of the wiring going. First up was wiring up the Z stepper motors, and both of those Z motors have individual wires that go to them, and they had to be joined. So I had to, clip the leads and wrap them together, and then put them into the coupler. And then the coupler works on connecting to the MKS board. So essentially what we did yesterday is we did a lot of the basic wiring. We haven't touched the AC, fortunately, but so the X, Y, and Z is all wired up, and we got the limit switches installed as well too. And there's a couple of spots there I have a little bit of concern with, but at least all of those limit switches are adjustable, so we can adjust those as needed. So that's not that not too big a deal. I'm looking at the printer right now here. So we have that mounted up. There was another issue I found with one of the Y rods. For whatever reason, it was bouncing around a little bit. So I had to go back in there and kind of crank on that SFU, whatever that coupler piece is there that you tighten up there, and it pinches that rod in there. So that definitely got a good tweaking. We did a little bit of the wiring management. And I say very little because when you see what the printer looks like, there's just wires everywhere. We definitely got some work to do. So what I'll do here is I'll get the printer on the desk and show you where we're at with it. So, as you can see, there's wires everywhere. So we have all of these guys set up and working. The rods are no longer sliding around, which is a very good sign. We're trying to figure out the wiring management because clearly I have a lot of wires that are hanging everywhere. The other thing I wanted to try, I guess I can try it now, is I want to see if these guys are going to work out, and they're gonna work great. So these are essentially, again, they look like something out of Tron. So I had printed something similar for my FT5, but of course that uses 2020 rail. It's not nearly as big as this stuff is. And so that should definitely help out, just in trying to tuck in these wires. Now right up in here, this is where the two Z motors are wired together, and they go into this coupler here. And of course this guy is just swinging around right now. So what I want to do, I'm going to swing this back over here if it'll fit on the desk. I need to move the mouse in case I need to change the camera angles on you. Actually, let's do that right now just so you can see. So as you can see, it's just, there's a lot of wires. But this right here, as it is just sitting here swinging. But the part I found, this guy, allows for this to sit flush. It's really nice. So it's going to sit there, and essentially all I have to do is use the T-nuts and machine screw and such to have it hold in place, and then the wire wraps will go around those cables on the bottom and the top to kind of snug things up. So I said I was going to make it stock, but I couldn't resist looking on Thingiverse to see if anyone had made any changes or tweaks for the FT-i3, and sure enough, I did find these one or two. So what I can do is I can work on installing this one right about here, and that should at least help manage some of this cable. And then I have those clips that I printed out I can lay up top. So with any hope. So let's go ahead and let's go back to our main cam. Well, hello, Jimmy. How are you? So what I want to do is I want to try to find just the right spot to hang this. And because I want this guy to kind of, so right about there I think would be good, just enough slack. So now it's just a matter of finding the right Allen wrench. Well, I see you spinning and spinning and spinning back here, but OMG, is this, what's going on with this? It is just spinning forever. All right. Starting to think that T-nut I'm using is, I think the T-nut I'm using is not fat enough for 30-30. Interesting. So that would explain why that's not quite working right. So wiring management is going to be a big part of this printer, especially with it having so many moving pieces to it. Trying to recall what else. You said you didn't see the broadcast yesterday. Well, like I said, this is an early kit, so it's missing a few things. So that's kind of a drag. I don't have any local sources for Kapton tape, so I may have to pause my build here and order some, because I can't think of anything else to use as an alternative to secure the bed thermistor to the back. All right, and what height did I redo? What about here? I don't want to. So away we go. And if anyone cares, I can post a link on Thingiverse as to where I found this little bugger. Okay, one side in. There. I kind of wish this would snap in, but the way it's working is okay too. Okay, there's that one. A little tricky getting the fingers in some of these locations. Okay, so that's gonna, let's go to a different camera so you guys can get a better view of that. So I think that's gonna work out all right. Just gotta snip the edges here, at least leave a little tab there, so if I have to give it a tug in the future, it'll be all right. But yeah, I think that'll help organize some of this cabling a little bit nicer. And I'm just going to give my annual message of hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Paul. This is where nerdy is cool. I've had this channel for just over a year. I was originally an R2D2 builder, and I had a pretty popular channel called Paul's R2D2. And once I got R2D2 done and got into a bunch of other projects, I thought, well, maybe it's time to make a new channel that wraps everything up in one. So that's what this one is. If you're not a subscriber already, go ahead and mash the button, become one. Love to have you on board. And one of the first things I'm eager to try out is a couple of these clips, just to see if we can tuck that wire in and keep you in. I think these are, actually I should probably queue up the Ultimaker to print some more. But I think that's going to be all right. I kind of like that. It's kind of nice when you can 3D print a solution for a 3D printer. Let's see. So then this. Yeah. I think that's going to work out quite nice. See if we can't. And we'll throw one here in the middle, just to kind of keep things everything tucked in. So there. I think that looks all right. I think I should probably tell the Ultimaker to make a bunch more. All right, we'll get the Ultimaker started on a couple more of those. All right, so I have a spare one of these now. All right, I'm here to start a pop-up real briefly. Let me check my chat here, make sure I haven't missed anybody. Caleb, Jimmy, all right, all right, all right. You know, it's funny you say that, because I've been telling these guys that I really need to stop using the word all right. It's one of those things I just always do. So I've been trying to find some other metaphor to use. All right, on the back here, I'm going to, let's see about putting one of these clips up and then. There. Yeah, that's the routing of some of these limit switches is kind of be interesting. Routing a lot of these wires is going to be interesting, but what I'm trying to do is every time I lift this printer off the ground, I'm dragging a bunch of wires here. So I'm just trying to find some way to shove these into the 3030 rail. I'm just worried about inadvertently pulling or damaging one of them. All right. That's kind of accidental, but it works. Yeah, so the same story with the FT-5. The FT-5 has had a lot of wires, all over the place on it, and what I'm just trying to do is just trying to make it so, not so much that it's pretty, but you just don't want to damage anything. So what I've been doing is these clips. Right now I have the limit switch wire coming in. I got the Y stepper motor cable tucked in here. And these clips, they have a little bump in the middle to kind of apply some force in there. So the goal right now is just to try to get these wires up and out of the way. It's not perfect, but, and then of course we're going to probably make more changes as we go. But I'm definitely pleased with how these little clips are helping to hold some of these wires, keeping them in that channel. And if anyone has any better ideas, let me know. Hello, Robert. Yeah, no, I don't have any. Oh, what's going on? Oh, the Ultimaker is going to work. Let me just get this blob out of here. Yeah, I think we're going to make 8 more. Alright. Yep, and you're going to home. Alright. String, string, string. That is the Ultimaker 2 Plus, and I won't lie, that is one of my very favorite printers. So for those that are tuning in from last night and wondering where we left off was the next step. Oh, I'm sorry, you had asked about Kapton tape. I do not have any. I did chat briefly with John Folger saying, hey, my kit didn't come with it. And he said, well, the earlier kits didn't. Well, the instructions say I need it. So I had asked, I said, is there any chance you can send me some? And I didn't get a response. So I suspect that means I should just plan on purchasing my own. Unfortunately, I don't have any local sources for that. So chances are that's going to be an Amazon purchase or something. Or maybe straight from his website. I can place the order on Friday, and he's in New Hampshire, I'm in Maine, so maybe I can get it in 2 days. That'd be cool. Hopefully that printer running in the background isn't too loud. If you're wondering what that big monstrosity is on the front of it, that is a mount for my camera. I'm a big Octoprint user, so I am able to watch what the Ultimaker is doing from a remote control. I do on my phone and my iPad quite a bit. It's also using Octoprint Anywhere, so if I'm not at the house, it goes to the cloud, and I can see what's going on via the cloud. So it's kind of cool. I can go to the gym or I can go to work and check on the printer and see what's going on. Whether you trust your printer when you're home or not, that's completely up to you. But I haven't had any issues. So no Kapton tape. So the one thing that I was really hoping to do is I would like to get the bed mounted, but I don't know an alternate way to get that bed thermistor on there. The next steps, let's go ahead and somewhere here I have dropped the mouse. And let's catch up on the instructions here. We are through all of this. Guys, we've made great progress over the last, well, it's almost a week. We started on Wednesday, right? All right, so we've done this, been there, done that. See, this is the, let me go back here. So this is the step I'd like to do. I'd like to, attach and get the bed going. But until I have the materials I need. And this one, it looks like I didn't receive a glass bed. So I guess this is printing straight on the aluminum. I'm sorry, not straight on the aluminum. It came with like a build tack-like surface. So it looks like it's printing on top of that. This is going to be what we did either yesterday or the day before. We did already attach the spool holder, so that's been done. We did the electronics. Ironically, the stop button, I found that in the bottom of a bag of electronics. So I could loosen that and put that in there, but again, I've never used the stop button on the LCD controller to stop a print. I've always just spun the dial and clicked abort, so I'm not going to worry about it. All right, this was the feet. This was the electronics. We did all this yesterday, mounting the power supply. This is the grand overview, and we'll have to come back to this. And I got to tell you, I'm always worried a little bit when it comes to playing with the power supply and the PSU, making sure that I get brown, blue, and green in the correct locations. We will come back to that. Actually, I think the cord I have. The cord I have has a plug at the end, so I'm assuming I'm cutting off the cord. But we'll cross that instruction when we get there. So let's back off on the zoom a little bit here. This is what we started on last night. So this is what I was showing you guys here. The Z motors up top. We ran the stepper motor wires, ran them into the green connector, and we had some struggles trying to figure out. Yeah, well, the only problem I have using duct tape is duct tape leaves behind a residue, and that's why I was wondering if I could use electrical tape, because electrical tape would at least come off without leaving all that gunk behind. So that's a good point. And that's the question I was wondering, because electrical tape, I don't know if it's going to stick once that bed hits, 60 degrees Celsius. So that's the big unknown. I know the painter's tape. Well, painter's tape would obviously work because it obviously works on top of the bed. Oh, you think electrical will leave a residue too? Yeah. See, that's why it's so frustrating. I don't have any. I just drives me crazy. Okay, so reviewing, so this is all the final stuff we did yesterday. This is the Y motor, and this is the cabling that goes under. We did the Y limit switch, and this is the X limit switch. I had to do a double take on this. You have to, this right here, I could not understand for the life of me how to get all this cabling. When you first look at this loop, you're thinking, well, it must go over the top of the frame, but it doesn't, because that limit switch wire, is only about a foot long, so that's out. So that's why we kind of got creative with what we have now. Okay, this is our Z limit switch. The only trouble with the Z limit switch is that where this bolts in, you can't access the screw because this frame piece is in the way. So it's basically on there by friction. Yeah, and exactly what you mentioned in the chat is right, Caleb. If the electrical tape, pops loose the bed resistor, we're going to get thermal runaway, and we won't get anything. So, and this is where we left everything. So essentially, where we're at now is we're going to have to run the extension cables. And we have a green connector. Now, one thing we learned yesterday about the green connector, which I think, I wish Ben was here because Ben was very good at this. Because it was clockwise to tighten, counterclockwise to open. And by default, this connector, they're all closed. And unless I have my glasses on, I couldn't tell. So let's go over here. So these are the guys that we're kind of arguing with at the moment here. So right now I'm just spinning these so that they spin them all counterclockwise, so I know that they're open. Because by default, they are all shut. So it's not much fun to stick wires in there. But what's interesting here is looking at the instructions. So what we have is we've got the heater cartridge wire. So this is that blue wire. And then we got the thermoresistor, which of course gives us the temperature of the print head. And then we're also running the hot end fan. That's a 24 volt as well. So that's going to be running through. Now, you may notice, like I did, is that this printer, just like the FT-i3, didn't come with any kind of part cooling fan. So you're kind of on your own for that one, which I think is kind of a pity, but I mean, because you really you need a part cooling fan. I didn't look at the. I'll have to look at the Google Drive to see if they have one set up or not. All right, so let's. And I said all right again, didn't I? Ah. So all of this stuff here is all wrapped up. All right, let's unbutton that. Yeah, with the you're sitting there trying to make that connector work, and you realize that wait a minute. Yep, exactly. All right, looks like I'm gonna have to cut some of that off the end. All right, so because these guys are running at a higher amperage or wattage, these guys have their own separate connector. All right, at least that jacket comes off pretty easy. It's probably a little bit more than I needed, but all right. And we'll just give these guys a couple spins. I'll get that connector out here because I don't know how. All right, 2-wire connection. Well, let's do something crazy here. Let's take a look at his instructions and see what they say to do with that connections. Trim the fan and thermoresistor wires and secure into the green connection. Trim the hot end heater wires and secure them into the 2-wire connector. Be very careful with the thermoresistor wire. Secure it to the heater wires with a cable tie to keep it from moving around. Right. So what I'm wondering is how far, let me make sure I get these guys over. How far am I pushing this thing in here? Boys, oh boys. Time to get the glasses on because I can't see what's going on with this connector. Okay, so these guys are just screw downs. They certainly don't move very easy. Alright. All right, let's move the bag of goodies. Let's get this camera over here. All right. So the first screw is screwed in. Part of me would really prefer to solder these, but I'm going to follow the instructions. Trying to make sure that this is making contact with the bare wire and not anything else. Robert Allen, hello. Robert, as a matter of fact, I'm glad you tuned in because one of the things, let me just backtrack here, is I found this thing, which is a nice block mount. So we're just using the, I can't speak tonight, those thumb screws and holding them in place. So we get that going on. Right now we're working on getting these thermoresistor and heater wire cables connected. So right now they're not talking about doing anything with the other side of the connection. Okay, that's fine by me. Somehow. Okay, they've already... These two wires have already been trimmed anyway. So we should be able to just stuff these fellows in there. Okay, so what we got going on, and it's funny how the focus wants to be on this thing. Sorry about the camera being wonky. Alright, so what's interesting is they gave us a fairly long amount of cable for the, let me move the camera again. So we got a tremendous amount of distance here for the fan, but we don't have a whole bunch here for the thermoresistor. Matt Johnson, good evening. So I'm wondering if I should shorten that cable. You know, let's make an executive decision. Let's make it so that everything is the same size. What do you think? Will I regret this? Perhaps. But there we go. We are shortening that wire so that a little bit less wire management. And if you guys are wondering about the beer mug in the corner, people said you should take tips. So OBS allows for a tip jar. So down there in the corner is a tip jar if you guys wish to indulge. I set that up. I thought it was wicked corny, but I guess people that do a lot of live streams make really good use of it. But when I was testing it, I was making all these weird sounds and animations. That was funny. All right, so let's peel this apart a little bit. Actually, a lot of it. I'm hoping the printer behind me isn't too loud for you guys. Oh, I almost had you. That came out a little short. There we go. Much happier with that. All right, let's give these guys a spin. Okay, I think I like this better just because everything's going to be roughly the same size. All right, this is where a second set of hands would come in really handy. Handy. See what I did there? Handy. Okay, I put the black screwdriver on top of the black build plate. That was confusing for a moment. All right, red wire is in. All right. Doobie-doobie-doo. It's funny how this tripod with 3 legs always has the worst view. Let's see if this helps you guys any at all. All right. So this feller, you know, these web cameras and their autofocus. Supposed to be better than this. It looks like my cable is a little, yeah, it looks like it didn't go in at all. Son of a biscuit. I think first of all that is a little bit long and that's why it stuck out. So we'll trim you both. Yay much. Did I not open you? Boy, I am a huge fan of solid coral wire, although it's not going to work for what we're trying to do here tonight, but these tiny 24 gauge wires that like to come unbundled on me. All right, you're in. You're in. And it's time to get rid of the sweatshirt. Alrighty, getting toasty sitting next to that printer. So this is where we're at. Let me thank you, camera, for focusing in on me. 2 are in. There we go. All right, 2 down. I think I said hello to everybody. I'm just looking through there. I think I got all ya. There. Oh, just missed my cup of coffee. I'm really tempted to just solder these, but trying to be very well behaved and do exactly what the instructions say. And then if I have troubles, then I'm going to do it my way. I really wanted to use the I guess chain flex cable. Actually, I got a big roll of it up here. It's made for CNC machines, and you know, it has all those leads in there already. So essentially, with one cable routed around, I can have the. I think that one has 12 wires inside of it. Chain flex. That's what they call it. So what we've done is this dude is now sporting the 4 wires. I can't tell where the camera is aimed at the moment. And I do have the other part of this done. I'm going to loop this over the top of the printer just so it's up and out of the way. There we go, so you can see that. And we have this guy dangling here and just waiting for the opposite side of the connections. And Jack Whitman, hello. So our brief pause, I'm going to go through this here real quick. So I got a nice extension cable here for the fan. These are, I'll give them credit, these are the silicone wire. You can tell it has a very slippery feel to it. So there is that. And then I have the very thick black and red. And I got all kinds of extra wires here. So we'll see what the instructions say. I'm fairly certain that this is going to be what we use to extend out to the extruder fan with this stuff. And this already has a connector on one end, so fairly certain that's going to be where our thermoresistor is soldered into. Minnesota maker, I haven't seen you in a while. Hello. Alright, and I'm just trying to untangle all this stuff. Okay. Wow. So the thermoresistor connector is looks like it's a JST. It's going on a red and white cable, but polarity shouldn't matter. So let's just dangle you over here. Gosh, it's starting to look like a Christmas tree setup over here. Yeah, so as you can see, I got wires dangling everywhere. So let me take a quick pause real quick. I see we got like 7 people online. My name is Paul. This is my channel, Where Nerdy is Cool. If you've never seen me before, hello. If you guys are regular followers, like many of you guys are, hello again. Thanks for tuning in. What we're doing is, this is the FolgerTech FT-i3 Mega. As you can see, it looks just like a CR10. It looks just like a TiVo Tornado. The same i3 Prusa style design. What's different with this one is the motors are up top, and what is very interesting is that there's nothing holding the Z-screws on the bottom. They're all being held up with just the couplers and the stepper. So really curious how that's going to work out once this thing is all up and running. If you're not already a subscriber, please become one. I'd love to have you on board. I know most of you guys are, but I just wanted to put that out there. Also, if you haven't liked my Facebook page, Where Nerdy is Cool, or Instagram, I'm always posting pictures in progress and just teasers of things I'm working on over there as well. So that said, hello and welcome. The beer mug in the corner, having some fun with Streamlabs. They have a bunch of add-ons, so if you wish to tip me, that thing will animate and light up and jingle and do all kinds of animatronic stuff. Clearly your call, whatever you want to do. But a couple guys had mentioned over the last couple of nights saying, hey, you ought to put up like a donation jar. Okay, whatever. So I'm not expecting any money, but if you guys want to, feel free. So that said, we are at this part of the install. We'll show you on the instruction guide where we're at. So what we've done is basically these are the wires that go to the heater cartridge. We get the thermistor, which of course measures the temperature of the heater block. We have the 24-volt fan, which cools the cool zone, and all this stuff has to be routed to these connectors, which we've just done. And now I'm assuming the next step is going to be running the wires that go from here to the control box. I'm not crazy about using connector boxes. I don't like having any weak links in my wiring, but as I've begroaned earlier, we'll follow the instructions and see what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to page 2, and it's probably going to talk something about, oh yeah, wire covers and all kinds of fun. So it's saying, what are they talking about doing here? Well, I don't have a 600mm wire cover. I sure wish I did. All I have is spare belt and this loom stuff. I don't see anything else. No. So essentially they're talking about taking the, so this is our extruder stepper, okay, which we haven't plugged in yet. What they're recommending is, it looks like basically what he's advising is you want to stuff all these wires going from the connector back into this wiring loom. Holy cow, this is a long stepper wire. It has a knot in the middle. How did that happen? In the background churning is my Ultimaker 2. We found some really cool connectors that go on the 3030 frame so that it can help keep all these things nice and neat. There we go. So 3 meter 18 gauge. Well, does it say what the gauge is on it? I'm pretty sure this is 14. Yeah, that's 14. Alright, so I'm trying to match up with all the goodies I have in this bag here with what he has over here. So essentially what he's saying is cut this in half, so now let's alrighty. Okay, well, one sure way to cut it in half is to do this and okay. So my hunch is he wants to use these 18 gauge on the hot end. But right now all they're talking about is the wire cover. Run all the wires through the wire cover with the bare ends and the stepper plug on one end, leaving enough wire sticking out to connect them to the carriage assembly. Alright, so that's going to be what we're doing. So then the fun part begins. I say that sarcastically. So this is what I got left, the wiring loom. So I'm trying to figure out Well, maybe that's long enough. So is this going to have to go over into the side, or how is this going to route? What a mess. Let's go with the next couple pictures. Let's see what it looks like on the next page. Okay, so yeah, as we expected, so it's going through the top and down the side. Large cable ties. Making stuff fit in this cable looming is not my favorite thing, as we saw last night. I check one more time. Do you give me anything better to do this with? No. So this large piece that they speak of does not exist. Man. It seems like I am being shorted a lot of the really nice stuff they keep hinting at. Not to complain, but it's a lot of work to shove some of these wires in here. Okay, so there's those two. Okay, and then we gotta, get back to the side again. So what I'm trying to do here, and so I got these two wires, and then I got the thermoresistor wire, okay, there's that, and then I got the fan wire. And to make all of this even more fun is that when there's eventually a part cooling fan, either that's going to have to get tapped into this somehow, or another wire will have to be run. Why couldn't these be zip wire? Yeah, why couldn't they be attached? Would have been nice. Alright, so basically what this boils down to is we've got about, and we haven't even got to the stepper wire yet. And I can tell you right now, there's no way that is all going to fit inside this stretchy little loom. So I don't think the loom is what we're going to be using. And then of course, here we go, we got the stepper wire, the carriage. So I wonder, so all of this has to go into that control box. I like the loom. The problem is that I have this much that has to go into that little tiny loom. And I don't know if I can make that all go through there without going crazy on camera. Which I know makes for really great TV. Let me see. Oh, geez, guys. I mean, I can... Problem is starting this off and getting all of these guys to go at once. That connector is the worst. Okay. It has begun. Let me trade cameras here so you guys can witness this here. So I'm trying to just keep this thing coiled up and work this stuff all through like a snake. The problem is that all these wires are so thin, they all want to bend. Yeah, see how they're all wrapping up inside of here? So I'm trying to keep this snake skin going here. Yeah, I got a hanger. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, because I was, you know, like the electricians always do. They run the guide wire first, then tug what they need after. Boy, that's a lot of. Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. Okay. Well, what I thought was going to really suck the connector cable is actually staying sideways, so that is helping a little bit. Come on, you. Alright, well, our hand-eye coordination is going to be freaking uber after this exercise. Yeah, I got the edges of the wire coming through the loom. Oh, you suck. Felt the wires being tugged the other way. A little help from the cat. Thanks, buddy. Well, the Ultimaker is making a lot of noise because I use Z-hop. So after each layer, it lifts up and it goes up 1 millimeter. I've just found with the Ultimaker and a couple other printers that if it does that up and down 1 millimeter, there's less chance of it knocking anything over. But that Ultimaker it's really a tank. It's a really great printer. Alright, well I got it a little bit further than I thought I was going to get it. Oh wow, look, only 2 feet more to go. This problem with the microphone right here is I'm sure the Ultimaker and all the making a whole bunch of noise there. This Ultimaker is not bad. The first one I had was the wooden one. And any of you guys that play guitar certainly know all about the beautiful acoustics of a wooden box. My goodness, that Ultimaker would sound like it was a ghost haunting downstairs if you were upstairs. It would just howl. Just the way those stepper drivers and the acoustics all played off. Alright, this better work. As you can see from my knuckle here, the aluminum composite material looks great, but boy is it sharp. It is wicked sharp. So definitely, I think one of the guys had mentioned the other night about a deburring tool to help out with the edges. Definitely a good recommendation. Alright, I feel like we're making some progress here. Oh boy. Oh, that sounds like an expensive fall. Just humming? Okay. It's funny, sometimes when I let it go on for a multi-day print, I'm directly below the bedroom, and there's a hole in the floor where all the cables run, and there are some nights I hear all that. So I have to turn on the ceiling fan, or... There we go. Come on. Keep on pushing through. Look, we're getting there. I did not think this was going to work. I will admit I had a bad attitude about this. Alright, so we get some wires and other stuff coming out the other end here. Alright, so let's take an accounting of all my wires here. So I got a stepper motor. Okay, so you got to keep on coming down a little bit more. Alright, let's take a look. So I've got stepper driver. Okay, these two look like my thermistor. And this black, and of course we can run continuity through them and double check what is what. And before we get too carried away, we're definitely going to put a bloody zip tie on these things. To prevent this loom from further deteriorating. Alright. I'll leave a little notch there in case I got to tighten up. And we'll give this guy a little bit of a haircut here. Some people have mentioned burning these off, but I really don't want to take the chance. Okay. Okay, and I think I've given, well, there's a few more spidery. Alright, so we're trying to trim while making sure we don't trim any wires. Alright. Okay, let's see, let's go here. Alright, cat break. It's Stinky Theodore again. What you doing, buddy? He is the resident shop cat. What are you doing? Are you want to sleep there? Nope. Stay up. Go play. Jack, you're leaving already? Am I Mr. Excitement tonight or what? Have a good night. So where we are at is I have a whole bunch of these I just trimmed up. So what we have done is these are all the wires that are going to go over the top here and connect to that block. And then we know for sure that, for example, one of these wires goes onto the stepper motor. There we go. It's about ready to say, you better go in there. So next up is, and these are going to have to be cleaned up a bunch too, that we know. I'm trying to organize these so that they're not in the way of everything. Okay, let me okay, there's my missing red wire. Red. Okay, so red. I don't know how I got the black wire so much longer than the other one, but okay. Oh boy. This is just, I'm not going to say it's a mess, but I've done better. Alright, so first things first, I think some trimming is going to be in order. Craftbot 3. I do not. Share what you know, please. Jasmine, are you on the stream still? I didn't see your message. I had my phone volume turned off, so I didn't catch your... She's asking, Jasmine's building one of these as well, and it was asking, did I run into an issue of not having an M5 spacer when you were on the bed assembly? M5 spacer, I'm trying to remember. I don't, M5 spacer, what would have been the, I wonder if she's thinking about the spacer as far as what we had to do with the pulley. Okay, I'll put the volume on my phone back on in case she just messaged me, so hopefully she'll She'll come back here. Da, da, da. You were missing an M5 4mm spacer. Yeah, wasn't that the one where, didn't you point out what they were talking about the inner diameter? Because we couldn't find anything that was a M5 spacer that was 4mm. I bet that's what she's thinking, because that's where we got stumped. And then we realized, I can't remember if it was Caleb or someone else, but it turned out to be the inner diameter of the nylon spacer, right? Am I thinking the right thing? Okay, so while I have all of our, you know, this cable goes on and on and on forever. So I'm thinking, okay, so Caleb and I, okay, so we're thinking the same stuff. Okay. Well, first of all, first thing I'm noticing is that I have an exceptionally long cable here for this. And obviously, I think this needs to be trimmed. So I went through all this work to attach this when I should be... Because there's really no need for 30 feet of this cable just to go to this guy. So we are going to shorten this up. There we go. So again, we're going to have a lot of extra wire. And even this is a little bit on the long side. Because this is going to go right to here. So, I mean, I have a decision to make here as far as how much am I going to trim this. I mean, this block can't go very high. Geez, I keep second guessing myself how much I'm going to trim this, but here we go again. Okay, that's still a little on the long side as far as I'm concerned, but I can certainly shorten that up if I really, really need to. And oh, sorry, I'm being lazy. I should wrap that up. So if you're just kind of wondering, what the devil am I doing now? Why did I shorten up the blue cable? Because I have like 13 feet of blue cable. Okay. Wiring, wiring, wiring. I really want to solder this together, but I'm trying to be good, trying to be good. Okay, first thing we need to do, I don't like that you guys have one longer than the other, so there you go. Now you're both the same size. Okay, this is the silicone wire, which is really cool stuff. It's very, there's a lot of wire in there. All right. So with any luck, you guys are going to live happily ever after. Spin you back around. You guys had mentioned with another printer type you were talking about. I'm not familiar with that one. Did want to mention, I think a couple of you guys have seen it already, but I will share it here. I do have my own web forum called the 3dprintingforum.us. Obviously, if you're like me and big into 3D printing, I've had that forum going for a couple years, and there's a lot of really knowledgeable electronics people in there, and we would certainly love to have more people participating. Or if you run into questions with your prints or a 3D printer, Facebook is okay, but sometimes if the question's already been answered before, it's hard to find it. So forums are a good backup. So I hope you guys check it out. Let me know what you think. Oops, damn it, this thing just popped out. All right. Okay, this is not a lot of camera angles I can do to show off the joys of wiring here. Okay, so you guys are in there good. It's still a lot of slack in my opinion, but we can tighten it up. Oh. Let me see if I can... There. Maybe that'll help. Dun, dun, dun. That was Jasmine, who's also... Actually, I think she's already got hers printing, but she was mentioning that she had difficulty with some of the instructions referring to spacers, and we ran into that hurdle too. And we think we figured it out. All right, now next up is trying our best to get these okay. And just trying to match up all my wires here. And there's you. You have writing on you. Just trying to differentiate between these. I want to say this and this are my fan wires, but I just want to make sure. So multimeter time again. So Yep. Got the right wires. Good. Should have a continuity beeper or something on here. Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I have. Trying to remember. I look confused. Now I'm just trying to find my other meter. I got 3 multimeters and I can't seem to find the one I like to use because it has the continuity beeper. It was so close, it almost bit me. Okay. So. Da, da, da. Yeah. Old age jokes. Okay. Now, in order to do this, that's the one I think I want. Okay, I don't care about that wire, but I do care about this wire. Aha! Ha. Okay. That's what I wanted. Alright, with this great big giant wiring loom. I now know that You're my problem child right there. And just to test the theory, I got too many multimeters. You know, if only I had a friend of mine's kid over here, you know, who went to school to be an electrical engineer, he'd be really handy right now. All right. Oh. Yep. Yeehaw. I'm glad I kept this one. Now, everyone remember where I put it. So, let's see what. Oh, got a little reminder here. Okay, so we're 1 hour and 30 minutes into this. Hi, my name is Paul. Welcome to Where Nerdy is Cool. We are wiring up a FolgerTech FT-i3 printer. This printer is, the print volume is 300 by 300 by 400 millimeters, so 12 by 12 by 12 and some change. Right now we're doing all the fun wiring, and as you can see, there's a lot of wiring to mess with. Following the instructions, I'd much rather solder these connectors, but I'm playing by his rules, so I'm just going to bitch and moan and do it. So we're cutting more wires. My friend Larry, who's razzing me, who may still be in the feed, he is the second best pilot I know in DCS. DCS World is a flight sim, and I will tell you unabashedly that we're hooked. I don't know how many of you guys are flight sim guys. We go back to the days of Falcon and all that stuff. And we have just fallen in love head over heels with this game. That's why sometimes if you go to my channel expecting to see 3D printing and you see us flying, that's us. Okay. So what I'm doing is I should have the webcam here working, but I got too much stuff in the way. I'm lining up the connectors. There we go. And then somehow this whole mess has to be attached and look good. As I said, somehow. You are a good pilot, yes you are. Surprised you're not flying tonight. Hey, Willie's 3D. Haven't seen you in a while. Oh, Willie, you're going to hate me. You're going to hate me. See, by default, the forum software, when it tries to verify you're a human or not, it always tries to come up with a generic question, which, of course, with the advent of search engines, any trick question, you know, if you say, who's the first man to land on the moon, you know, everyone knows that, but so do the spam bots. So, in the word 3D printing, what number is being represented? 3. 3D printing. That's why I wrote the question the way I did. What number is in 3D printing? Caleb, you nailed it. 42. Okay, well, I gotta tell you, I'm not a fan of how messy this wiring looks. Alright, well, man, oh man. How did they make it look so clean on that picture? You didn't think it'd be that easy? Well, I had tried to make it as simple as I have a graphic of the printer, and it's an orange printer. So I had said, you know, hey, what color is the printer? And apparently I picked a color that a large part of the population is colorblind to, because I get a fair amount of people complaining, saying, well, you know, I tried purple, I tried green. Saying, you're not close. So I'm putting these wire straps up in the best temporary locations that I can think of right now. The Ultimaker is about 40 minutes away from being done with those. So there, we've done it. We could probably push some of this wire back up, but at this very moment in time, I'm very content to leave things alone. I'm going to put one more twist tie around the center because I want stuff to stay away from the rail or get pinched. There. So there we go. So what do you think, guys? Does it look butt ugly or what? So now we have this mess of wiring. Now, here's what's kind of cool, because remember, I 3D printed these clips, and they may yet come in handy. There. So, I mean, this may have to come down. Well, it's got slack, so I'm okay with that. Good evening, Ben. How is Austin, Texas doing? So just so you got, let me get this back on camera. And let me try to get one of the cameras here that has a decent ability to get a decent shot here. Let's go to the external camera, and let's see if let's go back here. So these are the clips. The come on, focus for me. Here we go. So these guys are 30-30 clips. I found them on Thingiverse. They got that little nub in the middle here, so it's pushing inside the rail. And that's what I'm using to try to line this wiring up anyway. So the Ultimaker is currently cooking off a whole bunch more. Let's see. But as you can see, so I'm just kind of going for it. And at the bottom here, we definitely need to get a twist tie on that so this loom doesn't unravel any further. There. If you guys are wondering what the beer mug is in the corner, that is my tip jar. Two of you guys. Actually, let me look through here. No, the two people that mentioned it. So, yeah, you probably see it on other live streams. If you want to tip me, you can do so. And it will throw a little money in the glass with a little animation. So, it's kind of fun. A couple of people have had some nice comments saying, I can't believe you're not taking donations. Well, I'm always taking donations. It's just whether or not people want to give them. Okay, so I want to trim back some of the excess here. There, that's trimmed. Keep waiting for my rich uncle in Tennessee to buy me a really cool new joystick. I think I'll be disappointed, but it's fun to razz. Okay, there's that wire. So I think the next step is going to be obviously plugging these wires into various ports on the motherboard here. And okay, I'm trying not to get ahead of myself here, but I am trying to desperately untangle some of these wires while there's a chance I can do so. Aha! Boy, I've never had a stepper wire show up so knotted up. All right. Well, the joy, I don't know if Larry's still in here. Larry can chime in. The Thrustmaster makes the Warthog, and it's like a $300 or $499 joystick and the throttle combination. And it's just a very well-built piece of equipment. And my friend Larry is a retired pilot, and told him about it, and I'm pretty sure he cringed a little when he paid for it, but from all the flying we've been doing lately, I think he's really enjoying it. And I just don't have it in my budget to get some of those toys right yet, just like the rest of us, right? So I have this extra black wire kicking around. I have an X52 upstairs too, and man, it creaks. That's how worn out it is. When you try to make very small movements, it's creak, creak, creak. I mean, it sounds like an old wooden door trying to open. Yes, there we go. Thanks, Larry, for chiming in. Boy, it's that kind of day for all of us, Ben. I had a failed print this afternoon. I printed these pieces. Do I have one laying around here? One of the pieces that I wanted to show you was this. And this, remember that block I was messing with here on top of the print head and on the side? So that lays in the center. And then these wire straps, as I showed up here, I have one mounted up. I printed two just in case. So it does a nice job of holding that and keeping things up and out of the way. But so I printed two of these, no problem. And then when I went to go print a bunch of these M-shaped connections, it started out great. When I came back downstairs, there was a great big giant blob on the head of the micro Swiss nozzle. And I was like, no. So I put it on the Ultimaker, and it's been no problem. So every now and then, it seems like I run out of luck, and it's time to go to a different printer. Oh, hey, it's in focus. Yes, I know. This web camera just doesn't want to play nice. This is one of the, I think it's a 610, and it just, it's very frugal about what it wants to focus on. Speaking of focus, let's focus on the directions. So we've done this step. So we've connected all these leads. So the hot end has been synced up with its wires. We have the thermistor wires taken care of, and we have the 24-volt positive and negative leads taken care of. And of course, we've got the stepper wire now running through this hose, the mesh there that took a half an hour to push through. Can you believe it, guys? We were on page 52 of 57. Holy shnikes. All right, so this is talking about the hot end thermistor. Okay, so the wires that we just ran. So that's going to go on the black connector. Let me go ahead and let's click over to the regular camera here. And if it focuses, great. If it doesn't, I'm blaming Caleb because he hexed us. Okay. So that is in, and we got about 30 extra feet of wire, but it is in. All right. And now we have the joys of getting to the power supply, which is sitting upside down. Oh, goody. And I will be honest, I've been dreading playing with the power supply. Because it's AC, it's not like it can kill you, right? Here, let me just wet my fingers real quick. This is an MKS Gen V 1.4. I think it's the same thing as the TiVo Tornado has. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing my FT-5 has, too. Let's see. Well, I'm wondering. I mean, I got a lot of extra wire here. I have an extra, these two. So we shall see what's going on out there. All right. So I suspect we're going to get to the point here where we have to lift the printer up on its side to get at some of these things. So that wire is going to have to go. Look at all the wires, guys. Is this great or what? He says sarcastically. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to have to move some stuff around. Yeah, I have one of those too. I have, well, hang on, which one did I get for the TiVo? Alright, never opened it. I bought one, a replacement, because I was watching the video that Rui Raptor, I think his name is. Does a lot of stuff on YouTube as well. And I think the gist was we wanted to replace the board inside the TiVo because it has all the salmon skin crap going on. And replace it with this one. And this, wow, has a Ziploc bag. Let's break the seal and smell China. Oh, look, they included a USB cable. That's awesome. Now I have like 72. This one has no stepper drivers. Yeah, this is MKS Gen L version 1. What can you tell me about a Gen L? Do I have a better board? The same? And it has no stepper drivers because I was thinking about buying 2130s, but those require a children-friendly ton of work. Is there anything here that I can't lay this on? No, I should be good. Alright, well at least I can see the power supply now. I am going to elevate this because I don't want to put force on the entry. There we go. Or the chrome rods. Alright. Alright, pop you open. So we are looking at, I am looking at this thing sideways. 2100s. All right, let me share the view with you guys. I can't find my cursor. Okay, so we got to put it on. Okay, so we just got to put it on positive and negative. One of these on each side. Okay, that's not terrible. So we got V plus. Oops. Maybe my camera will work nice. Yeah, V plus, V negative. A little divider. All right. What fun. My phone beeped. My phone beeped. Somebody beeped me. Um, oh, Chris Soros just responded. We were asking about, because I don't have any Captain tape to attach that thermoresistor to the bed, so I wanted to see if there was anything else I could use. He says, nope, the heat would make it release if I use electrical tape. You need something with a high temp adhesive. A dab of silicone should work if you have that. I do not. Okay. Okay, well, I don't have that, so I'm still SOL. So speaking of, let's try to find some unobstructed way to route these two tiny wires. Let's see. Well, I am so used to playing with all these socket heads. Do I have a regular screwdriver? No. All right. Okay, and this is another one where I'm again wondering if I should be shortening these wires. Well, and that's it, Ben. I don't have any, and I live up here in the boonies, and I don't have any access to that stuff. So I got to order it and wait a couple days. So that kind of sucks. That means I can't power this thing up because it'll just give me thermal runaway if I try. You know, I really think I would like to put this on a connector, like a. No, these are all round connectors. Where's my blades? All right. I know I probably am being a little. I just would really. Wow, these are small wires. These connectors. I just don't like running small wires on these little contacts. All right. We'll do it this way then. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I get paid once a month, and I get paid on Friday. So right now, I can barely pay attention, as my friend Jimmy would say. It sucks to be poor. Okay. That's a little bit too long. That's what she said. Ha 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 ha. Sorry. I am an admin for the online learning system at the college I work at. So I am a state employee. Hip, hip, hooray. Actually, I like what I do. It's just that, unfortunately, that's a trade-off when you usually work with the state. You make a lot less than your private sector peers, but your benefits are usually pretty outstanding. Okay. This isn't exciting to watch. I'm just trying to work this super thin wire. Yeah, payday goes quick. I've been there for just over 3 years. It's a different kind of IT work for sure, but I'm not doing the break fix stuff. I'm a level 3 tech. There we go. So I didn't wind up using these. There we go. Oh, the fourth poorest, yeah. Well, the good news is we did have some bond issues go through where the university is going to get some more money. A lot of our classrooms are pretty behind the times. But, okay, so that said, let me, dun, dun, dun. All right, so those guys are mounted up. You guys can check my work if you like. Let's see, V plus is our positive lead, and V negative, of course, is our negative lead. So the extruder fan, of all things, will eventually have power. And I'm just looking at the instructions. Cat, what are you doing? Cardboard box is falling apart again. Let's see. Well, I mean, it's they're just 24 gauge. All they're running is a 24-volt fan. So let's look at our instructions. Okay, and yeah, I guess we can finally plug that guy into E0, which is right here. Boy. Wires, wires, wires. Okay, so now we just have our hot end. And that's going to be our next hookup over the. If I'm a betting man, that's the next one that's going in. There. So let's go ahead and let's see, as the pastor says, turn the page. Okay, well this is telling us where to put the, and unfortunately we can't do the bed thermistor because we don't have the bed attached. So it looks like we're going to be skipping this step. So let's go to the next. Okay, main board voltage. Here we go. I was expecting this. So we're going to be cutting those last two sets of wires in half. Let's see what he says here. Run 14 AWG gauge black wires from two negative 2 terminals on the PSU to the top and third terminal MKS. Then run 14 blah blah blah. Please verify the markings on the MKS board and the PSU as they'll be damaged. Yeah, okay. Got it. So what that means, dun, 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 these last two wires. And I'm assuming if they're two of them coming out of the power supply. That must mean that they're in series, I guess. We're just going to give it 24 volt. So what we're going to do is line this guy up. Get you over here. Where is my, there you are. Alright, so now 4 wires. Now, due to the nature of what these guys are going to be, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the connectors, the ferrule connectors, the round ones, for what's going to plug into the board. And obviously what connects into the power supply, I'd like to use blades. I'll crimp those on. I just want to do it right. So first of all, let's go one at a time here. Let's see if that's going to be enough. The reason I like these ferrule connectors is that you don't have to worry about them untangling in the future, because they are all crimped up into one of these guys. Now let's make sure that you're actually going to fit inside the connections here. Yep, you will. Alright, so I got the, let's see if you'll focus on that. So I got one of these guys. Probably not, huh? Yeah, I tried. So what we do is we kind of spin this guy on here. And voila! We got a nice connection for that guy to go into. So that's one. Let me get 3 more of these. So if you guys are just tuning in, we are wiring up the FolgerTech FT-i3 Mega 3D printer. Right now I am just, let's see, this is 14 gauge, so it should work. I am using ferrule connectors. The silicone wire is great. So what I'm doing is, let me see if I can, so I got that all, oh, I had it focused, come on. There we go. Got it like that. Then we kind of screw this guy on. Come on. Come on. Play nice. There you go. And then we put it through the crimper. I'm going to give it a second hit. And there we go. So this is the end that's going to go into the MKS board, and I pre-measured that, and it's going to fit those connectors. Much better than just, you know, crimping the wire on, in my opinion. And then on the other side of these guys, we will also crimp on the blade connectors. one done. I was about ready to say, hey, look, Caleb, it's in focus, but it bit me. Okay, and away we go. And I'm giving them all a little tug here too, just to make sure they're all happy. Okay, and then the next step is going to be to follow those steps they laid out. But before I do that, I want to put connectors on the end of these guys. And let's start with the first one, and then we'll figure out what size 14 gauge we'll use. I think that's going to be a blue one. Yep, definitely blue. Okay, so I need 2 more here. And I just need to grab my crimper. Good news, I found crimpers. Bad news, wrong crimpers. These are all the ones for the JSTs. Let's see. Boy, it's one of those days. I don't have the right part. I don't have the right tool. Okay. So I do like the way those are all coming out, though. Geez, I just had those a while back. Let's see. Nope, close. Close. Wow. Oops. Yeah, the furrow. Yeah, I did tug on them just to make sure that they're all good. I am pretty happy the way these came out. I am stumped as to where my crimper is. But then again, I suppose I used up all my good luck finding that second multi-tester. Alright, so you're on. Well. I had them when I did some rewiring in R2 recently. I checked that tool bag already and it's not there. It's a camera. Yeah, it's that one camera definitely likes to act up for you. I'm going to do one more quick look around here, and if I can't find it, this might be our stopping point for tonight. But it's really weird. I had it up recently. Too many toolboxes. No. Well, guys, I can't think of what I do with it. I'm going to try one more spot. I found it. Okay, back from a little break. Printer's done. The Ultimaker is done, yeah. So we got more of those brackets all printed out. You guys won't have any background noise to give me a hard time about. And I got a mouse over here, so let's go back here. So yeah, I had to go look for this. I had used it a few weeks back when I was doing some repair work to R2, and I had done that at my desk, and it was buried under a corner of paperwork. Alright, so let's shorten you up just a little bit here. Yeah. And next step is let's wind you up good and tight. And I was always taught to leave that sticking out just a little bit, like that. Holy crap, Caleb, it focused, and you missed it. And reef on this thing. Okay, so that's Come on. I saw it. It was glorious. Okay. So connector 1, done. Rinse and repeat. I don't know why this is looking as funky as it is. Alright, let's go about that far. What's cool is it's just so, the silicone wire is just so fuzzy, you know? There's a lot of strands in here, which I like a whole lot better than those teeny tiny ones we were using. Alright. Crunch. Look, it's in focus again. Holy crap. Caleb's being spoiled. Alright, 2 left. Now the other thing I was looking at, and I hate to be a Debbie Downer here, but I am also missing the power cord. I have the power cord, but I don't have the plug and fuse section, which would then be wired into this. There's no way I'm going to direct wire an AC right to the power supply. You need to have a fuse in there. So I don't know what's up with the missing pieces, and I know he's busy getting the FT-6 ready to go, but there's a few pieces I could really use. Okay, get you in there. Alright, another one done. Gotta keep track of time here. 10:36, okay. There. Trying to get a tight wind on that. There you go. Then you can flatten out once they're crimped. Okay. All right, I like that that was done that way. Now we're looking at the board. Let's see. They're showing in the diagram. Let's take a look at his diagram one more time together here. Okay, they're showing that being upside down. But we're more interested in the upper left-hand corner. So red, black, and how does it say up here? Red, black. Good. Okay. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put one of these in, and I would love your opinion on how you feel about that. Oops, we're kind of in the way. Is there a better way to get this webcam to do what I want it to do? Maybe. So I got this here, but there's a good chunk of it sticking out too. So maybe if I spin this, let me get these things out of the way since we no longer need them. And let's get you tipped this way. All right, that should work out. All right, so this is what we got going on. Come on. So it's kind of sticking out a little bit. Not sure how I feel about that, but the only thing I can think of is I could crimp the end off that. This way it's more flush. Yeah, maybe let's do that. Okay, so what I'm doing, just so I can, is let's see if this will focus. So I've nipped it down a little bit here. So it's like that now. Oh yeah, that's much better. And I will demonstrate that in just a moment. So again, we're playing the game of which way is the connection. Okay, turning you clockwise now. Good. I think that looks, come on. I think that looks much better now. Actually, it's been nipped down a little bit. Do. All right, and then the, oops, I said already again, didn't I? I need to have some sort of penance every time I say that. So we will nip you down. Ba-ting. See, by default, these doors are all closed. In the ass. Okay. And now we go clockwise. I suppose if I really wanted to test that, I could put that on 12 volts and things should light up. Yep, just the tip. That's exactly it. All right, and then the next set is the same story. And yep. Now I was looking, I was looking around for that missing crimper. I was looking in the box, wondering if perchance I had misplaced something as far as the parts for this printer, and I'm curious what the next step will show here, because obviously we're going to be doing more power supply stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and open that connector. And wow, that went across the room. All right, well, it's really amazing how the if I knew the camera would focus, I'd show you what the end of this thing looks like. It's kind of impressive. When you cut the end off, you got all those wires. Wow, it actually stayed within focus. All right. Let's demonstrate what we got. So I think that looks a whole lot better than squishing wires. So the board's getting pretty populated. And then, if I recall what the directions were saying, we're just putting these on, yeah. So we put them on a positive, positive, negative, negative. Okay. Nothing too squirrely there. So let's go ahead and let's try to run these wires in a way that it actually makes sense here. The Phillips that I had a moment ago would be sweet. Da, da, da. Okay. Positive and positive. Okay, and then our negatives. wires dangling everywhere. Holy shnikes, guys. Okay. So this side's all pretty. And actually, I'll make it easy for you. So that's all looking good. So we have, oops, let me move this so I can see it a little bit better. See, I don't like this. Cut off the female end of the cable off. What do you guys think about that? Last time on my 3D printer, it went into a fuse. I'm just looking at this here because this yeah, then this is the wiring for the electronic board. Yep, and then we're done. No, and what I would be expecting, well, that's all I can think of is it's internally fused, yeah, in the power supply. I mean, I gotta take their word for it. I got no way to... I thought it would have a... yeah, where's the switch and fuse? Exactly. No, there is no switch and fuse. And I'm not going to hook it up that way. That's just not safe. Yeah, so what I'm going to need to do is, I wonder if I, let's look up their, I'm hiding behind the printer here. Yeah, I agree with you guys. That's not a safe way to hook up a printer as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm no electronics expert, and I'm sure it would work, but if even my G-Tech has, well, you know what? I could probably parse that out. Well, the power supply is the fuse. Yeah, I agree with that, but let me see if I can pull it up on his website. Okay, I gotta move this printer again. Okay. Look at all these wires. And I just did all this work to wire management, and I'd have more wires than before. Holy crap. Yeah, maybe I'm being uptight, but I just don't think that's a good way to geez, I have to say I have some cables over here would be an understatement. Do I got a twist tie here? Yeah, I do. If you guys hear that crazy sound, thumping sound above me, that's because I felt sorry for the cats when I went upstairs. So I gave them some catnip. So they're just flying now. Oh, let's go ahead and move this, and you can see my incognito twist tie. How I've decided to try to move all this stuff here. And I got a lot of tools I gotta put away. And as you guys have probably mentioned, is maybe I should put them where I can find them. I know, crazy talk. Let's look at their website and let's see what they. Yeah, no, I understood what you were saying. All right, I'm too far away to use these. Let's look on their website together here, and there's the displays. Well, maybe you missed. I just want to find the. No, you didn't find anything either. Yeah, I'm just trying to. I don't know what the. What do you call that part? I mean, the only thing I can think to call it would be, well, let's, I gotta get up here so I can reach fuse, maybe? No, that's just gonna give me a speed controller. Yeah, the only thing I can think of is if I resort to, let me, let's see, I have a ton of stuff here on the FT-i3 when I did that. I just want to see on the inventory, oops, let's, one came with the FT-i3, so my thought is if I can find it in here, maybe I can know what I'm looking for. All right, let's, screen, slider. Power supply, power cord. Right, but the FT-i3 has a power switch and a plug. So this one doesn't seem to have that. But I know what I can do to find it. I can scroll down to the install. There it is. Power outlet. Yeah, that's the same power supply. Power supply, board, screen. That's the gantry. Well, where the devil? Yeah, so the power outlet is what we're missing. Jeepers. Yeah, and this cover is more of the same stuff that we did before. Yeah, this right here, power switch. Yeah, these weren't fun to do on the FT5. But I want to find the one that has the power cord one. This is all the crap. Yeah, right here. This is the stuff in the FT5 build for the power supply. So I don't understand why it doesn't come with one on this printer. Ouch. This thing just carved me up again. So, I don't know, guys. I'm not an electrician. I don't know the pros and cons of direct wiring it that way. I mean, there's no power switch. So, I mean, that seems like a problem. So, it looks like by design, the thing just powers on by plugging it in, and not sure I like that. So all I can do is email those guys and say, oh, there's all kinds of stickers on the power supply. It says pass and S36024, so it's a 360 watt, 24 volt power supply. 24 volt, 15 amp. But no switch. So I guess I'll have to shoot another email to support and say, hey, can I get one of those? But so a lion's share of the wiring has been done. So we've made that progress. So the two things that are still kind of holding us up is, well, the new one now is the lack of a power switch. I'm not comfortable wiring that direct up like that, as I mentioned. We still need the Kapton tape for the thermoresistor for the bed to adhere to. That's it. And then it's all the fun of getting firmware up on this thing and trying to make it print. Oh boy, how late is it? Holy crap, it's 11. That's I have the same reaction as you, Caleb. I agree. When in doubt, pause. Oh, where's my mouse? Right over here. And we have another. These are all done. So these are. I think these are a great idea. We're trying to make some sort of sense of all that wiring that's running up and down here. I suppose this one can be moved. Let's squeeze you in there. Do the same thing again here. I like the composite. I hate the way it cuts me up. So, unfortunately, let me bundle that up over here. Give me one more. that, I can show you. So these little clips are doing a good job helping keep everything somewhat tidy, at least on one side. And up here we got same thing going on. There. I mean, if I wanted, I could print entire sections. I know there's a there are some Thingiverse prints for 3030 that I could do that on. Of course, this side is just an ugly mess right now. So we shall see. Well, this makes part 5. So we have completed part 5. We've completed the wiring to the printer. As we mentioned, we've got some concerns about the lack of a power switch, so we're going to email support and ask them about that. And the Kaplan tape, and then it won't be long. If we can resolve those issues, then we can power the sucker up and find out what's going on. 480, huh? Well, mine says 360. Well, wouldn't that be fun if I have to take that power supply out? Let's this is, as I mentioned, this is an early kit, so let's 480, yeah. Son of a gun. I'm glad you picked up on that. Well, I will communicate with them that there's some differences in what I have versus what's on the website. They may say that's no issue. It'll still work. But at least I'm glad you pointed that out to me so I can bring that to their attention as well too. Okay, 11 o'clock. I got to think about getting to bed here because I got to work in the morning. Thanks for watching. We're going to do this again probably tomorrow night. We'll find out how much I can do without having all the things that I need, the right power supply and everything we've mentioned as well. Yeah, you read my mind, Caleb. I would hate to think that I power this up for the first time and nothing happens or not much happens because we're way short on power. So I'm going to email them and let them know what's going on, and hopefully we can find some resolution or what have you. So I am going to end this for tonight. I thank you guys for watching. Remember, this is where nerdy is cool. I wish you guys a good night.